Bam, we're live. Good morning. Good morning. Uh-oh. Oh, good. I wonder why wow. Um, every time I send someone a link from this show, um, somebody send this to Chaffey. Uh, when I send people links, they don't get them. The links don't work from my computer. I wonder why that's happening. I am uh, I wonder what's going on with my computer. That is so fucking crazy. That is so crazy. What the fuck is going on? Um, I need to give them Daniel's number. Sorry, guys. Stand by. 1 second. That's just started happening. That's what when I sent James Sprague a link the other day to come on the show. Oh boy. When I sent James Sprague a link the other day, he got the same thing. Oh, this is a crazy phone number he has. France. France. Let's see. Hopefully, someone can send him the link. You're giving boomers a bad name again. I have to copy the link and send it outside of StreamYard. Yeah, that's what I did. It's so weird. They get stuck in some weird YouTube loop. Souza to the rescue, probably. Souza or Caleb. Or Jenny. Taylor's rescued me a few times this week too. Are you still using AOL? No. Good morning, Mr. Laundry. Souza yeah. User error. I don't know what's going on. Something just happened from this computer. I'll be doing the Dave Castro weekend review today. It looks like I will have a special guest. I always forget there is a oh, that's so weird. Have somebody else. Let's see if who comes to the rescue here. This is so weird. I'm gonna have a special guest today when I do the Dave Castro weekend review. Someone who's never done it with me before. It should be very interesting. Oh, thank you, Jenny to the rescue. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. That's totally. I don't know what's going on. Somehow there's some login with YouTube that's interfering. Hiller. Oh, good guess. Good guess. Oh, I don't understand your normally you just have Trump hating profile pictures, David. What's that one? I'm gonna need that one explained to me, or someone else explain it to me. Great show with Pedro and group this morning. Oh, where was that? What was that about? I was asleep or or walking the dog. I celebrated too early. Yesterday the dog didn't get up till like 5:30 or 6 this morning. I was up at 4:30. I thought I brought his kennel and put it at the foot of my bed last night. Usually I leave him in the living room. At 4:30, heard something squeaking and it was him. Claire from Born Primitive is returning. Claire, wait, what? Explain that to me. Sevi, Dream House Hotel was full. Going to Maria Soul Hotel in Santa Cruz. Good choice. Text me and I'll drive by there or I'll look at it. I'll forget. Um, I like Claire over at Born Primitive. Did he have I like Claire at Born Primitive. She's cool as shit. And attractive and tall. I think she's like 6 feet tall and a smoke show and smart and cool. Now I'm curious to see what that is. I didn't even know Pedro knew the people over at Born Primitive. I need to reach out to them and see if they want to have me peddle their wares some more. I want to go over to Pedro's coffee. Oh, 4 minutes ago. No, I don't see Claire on there. What are you talking about? Four minutes ago. No, that's JR. And that's all the super affiliate owners. What are you talking about? Sevi, can I camp in your backyard for the games? I'll even clean up dog poop. No, Claire wasn't on Pedro's show. Oh. How do you know Claire? And now I'm doing some crazy multitasking. I'm trying to make sure Daniel gets the link. I'm sorry, link works, but sends me to the YouTube request page and blocks me there. What the fuck? Even the link Jenny sent you? Shit. This is catastrophic. We're reaching catastrophic status. I wonder how Souza sent it. I wonder how Souza sent it when he got James to come on. Oh, even the link Jenny sent them. What the fuck is going on? Are you on Chrome? This is so fucking weird. Send this link to your guest. You may also want to share. Maybe I should ask AI. No boy. Professional podcast. Where? Oh no, not Claire. Wow, that is an obscure guess. You thought Claire from Born Primitive was going to be the guest for the Dave Castro Weekend Review? That's a crazy guess. So you saw her when she came on the show too, and she stuck in your head, huh? I get that. Trust me, I get that. He was a knockout. I wonder if I can get Souza to help me. Um, Souza, are you around? Maybe I'm just gonna have to call Souza. Daniel can't get into StreamYard. Same issue as what was the guy's name? James Sprague had. God. Volleyball players. Oh, is that what she was? She was a volleyball player. I'm excited for this one. Met Daniel Chaffey at Wadapalooza. Such a good dude. Yeah, he's a great guy. I went from like 100% certain to like 90 to now I'm 72% certain. I'm just looking here, seeing if there's another way I can send him a link. So bizarre. I'm really sorry, guys. I was really pumped about this. I watched a podcast yesterday Daniel Chaffey did a year ago, and the host was on a treadmill. It was bizarre. And I'm going to have to call. Oh, boy. He's probably coaching. How do I call Souza from this phone? I'm in a little bit of a panic. I don't remember feeling like this in a long time. Let's talk about the Hiller video. I haven't been following that situation very closely. It's like Facebook. It came and went, and I didn't jump on board. I kind of missed I missed the whole story.
You reach Matt.
I don't know what to tell Daniel. What do I tell the guest? I don't know what to tell him. I could call him by phone. I guess I could do the interview by phone where we never see him. Caleb, I know. I sent Caleb a SOS too. I think Caleb's traveling. I think he was working for the federal government, and he's on his way home. Tell him to stand by. My team's working on it. He's a busy man. Changing laptops to see if it works. Oh, you're such a good dude. You're such a. But I think it's my fault. I don't think it's his fault. Too much airtime for a liar. I don't know. It sounds like Hiller did an amazing job on it. I started watching the I watched the first video. It was like 28 minutes long. I watched like 6 minutes of it. I just felt like it couldn't get up going, so I just turned it off. Then I think there was a middle video that he did where he was live. I didn't see that one. And then I saw one pop up yesterday where he had the girl on and it said the final chapter or something. And I watched like 2 minutes of that and I started getting secondhand embarrassment for everyone on the screen. So I just turned that off. I was just like, okay, I don't need to. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, back in the day, I'll tell you this. Forever, Greg would whenever anyone would say, "But people are cheating," Greg would always say, "Hey, the community is going to take care of it. We don't have to worry about that. The community will take care of the cheaters." He used to always say that, and now like Hiller has fulfilled that. He's he's like the self-appointed hall monitor, and he seems to be doing an amazing job at it. You know, and make it. He's done an amazing job at taking out the cheaters and make it entertaining. So people, you know what I mean? Like he takes the people out into the center of the courtyard and puts them in that, that machine where you stick your head through and your hands through, and then the town throws tomatoes at you. He's got the whole thing. Um, I think the coach put her up to it. Oh shit! I think Daniel Chaffey may have been able to log on. That's crazy. Stefan, I'll help you. I think I see Daniel Chaffey's popped up. I just don't see his image. Mr. Chaffey.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How about that? It's listen. I've got a face for radio, so it's probably better that you can't see me, right?
Hey, oh, you're gone. You're gone. All right, he's gone. That was just I don't know. He's gone. He left. God, what a shit show. David, this is your chance. Hiller did a really good job. This chick is a artard. That seems like a contradictory statement. Daniel, he gets the link, Philip, and then it basically, I've heard this before, it asks him to log in through YouTube. That's something that's just started happening in the last year. And then he clicks on YouTube, and then it sends him back all the way around to the StreamYard again, and then back to YouTube, and you get stuck in this infinite loop. Pool Boy, people will keep giving her shit, but she owned up to it, which is a hell of a lot more than what Kale Lehman did. I heard they pulled her quarterfinals qualification. Is that true? I'm sure. I think she was pulled off the leaderboard. So, I think her coach put her up to it. What happened? I start in that final video. There was one guy that came on, and he was doing most of the talking before I turned it off. Was that the affiliate owner or something? You want to know why I turned it off? The coach said, I guess said the word shit. I couldn't really understand with his accent. And then the other guy, who I think was the affiliate owner, goes, Andrew doesn't allow swearing on his channel. And I just said, I'm fucking out of here. I'm out. I'm out. Once again, the most amazing, for me, the most amazing part is how political Mr. Hiller is, and yet he says he doesn't like politics. That's my favorite part. I can't wait. I wish he would just pivot to politics. He would be so good at it. Because all he's interested in the CrossFit space is politics. Up. Wow. I've never seen that circle before. 5 years of shows. That's amazing. Daniel Chaffey bringing something new.
Doesn't like us Europeans.
Hey, it's so weird. Have you ever had this happen, Daniel? I know you do a lot of podcasts.
No, and I've used StreamYard before. I used it with you before, and I used it with someone else as well. So it's bizarre. It kept throwing me into YouTube and then back out. So apologies for that, mate. But
no, it's on me. It's on me. It happened to James Sprague last week when he was trying to win $4,000 from us. And, and the link kept failing.
A bigger loss. I mean, he's a good looking stud muffin. You know, you don't want some old wrinkly like me. I'm made for radio, mate.
No, you could be on one of those videos where like it's an old man in a suit and it says what a difference a day makes. You have that debonair. You know what I mean? You're all shaggy and shit, and they cut you up and then put you in a suit. You know those commercials?
No, but it's good to speak to you again. I'd forgotten.
What a difference a day makes. And then the guy's like in a suit and he looks like a stud.
The before and after, but it depends on. Yeah, some mornings I'm the before and some I'm the after. How are you, sir?
I'm great. You have a certain air about you that you always like, even when you're in your gym clothes, I always feel like you're kind of in a suit. Like you're just, I don't know. You're well kept.
That's I think that's because my cleaning lady irons all my gym gear.
Oh, that's awesome. Is that true?
Yeah.
That is great.
So when I bought the house I'm in, I bought it in 2016, and she'd been in the house for 15 years with the previous family. And I'd never had a cleaning lady. I didn't intend to have one, but I just didn't have the heart to get rid of her when I bought the house.
Yeah.
So I've kept her since then. So she's been ironing my underwear and my gym gear for 10 years.
Do you does she have her own iron, or do you supply the iron and the ironing board?
Oh no, it's all here. It's all here. So yeah. But she tells me when the iron kind of like blew up and stuff, and she gave me, the iron she wanted and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, she's part of the furniture. But
Do
she
you have
yeah,
a
I don't know.
room in your house that she does that? You have a laundry room and there's an ironing board
Yeah,
and shit in there? God,
yeah,
that
yeah.
reminds me of when I was a little kid. My mom had an ironing board. That's crazy.
What you don't? What do you do? Just take it to the. Oh, you're making so much money with your podcast. You probably just take it all to a like a dry cleaner sort of thing.
Buddy, I'm old. I wear long johns and t-shirts all day. Like I'm doing every podcast I've done in my underwear. Like the underwear like an old man wears, like the long ones.
So long as you stay seated, we can only see from the waist up, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And even though I'm proud of my long underwear, my black long underwear.
so tell me what's going on, mate? What's going on?
It's the what?
There you go.
Hey, you painted that wall behind you.
No. It was like this. So this is my office. It's got like it's like a carpet on the walls. It's like I don't know. It's got the old fireplace there, and it's carpeted all the way up to the ceilings there.
Is that wallpaper or is that paint?
No. It's like it's not even wallpaper. It's like a carpet.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Oh, the audio in there must be fantastic then, huh? It must be just really nice and muted. You know what I mean? That's actually a good idea.
Salty tones. It's always nice.
Yes. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I don't know what is going on. It's fascinating. It's been quite the journey since Greg sold the company, and and to be honest with you, I've enjoyed it because it's kept me stimulated. You know what I mean? It's a good narrative, lots of twists and turns. It probably hasn't been fun for everyone. You know what I mean? It's a bit of an education. But because there has been so much, at least right now, there's a huge question mark, and I'm enjoying that. You know what I mean? A bunch of huge question marks, but I am concerned because in my life, I feel like I want to say 100% of the times, but I won't. I'll say 99% of the times when I think the grass is going to be greener on the other side, it's not. I'm always like, oh shit, it was better before.
Yeah, and you go, oh God, you got to be careful what you wish for,
Yes.
Yeah,
so there's no one at the helm, but I find it fascinating.
Well, there's no one, but there are people.
Right.
And
of course.
I put a comment on a social media post that I got a bit of heat for the other day, following the departure of someone from the organization.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I just commented, and I truly believe it, that CrossFit has the best team it's had in many years right now.
Yeah. I agree.
And there's some great people in the leadership team, and obviously, you got some old hands there that bring that legacy perspective as well, which is always good. Including people that move in the shadows that no one knows, like like a Marshall, for example, and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But there's a relatively new gentleman that's come in who's a CFO called Dalibor, who's fantastic.
I've met him.
He was nice. I'm always a bit skeptical about the finance team, but he's definitely the exception to the rule, and he's a door kicker. He wants to test things. He's not afraid to break some molds, and if he thinks it's right, and this is the thing I like, is that if he thinks it's right for the affiliates in the community, and so to have a CFO with that mindset is pretty refreshing. And then Jada Coons, that you know well, he's in that gym, and he's making better decisions now than in the first couple of years of his tenure as head of gym. And so I'm confident that these are good voices that can build something good for the future. But then the question of are they going to sell? Do they sell? Who do they sell to? I think those are the biggest questions, right?
I will say this along those lines. with Dawn and Annette gone, you know, this is not a group of people where it's like, hey, your teacher didn't show up, and so you start throwing spitwads. I think it's the
To be honest, on
opposite.
the
I
contrary,
think that these,
on the
pardon me,
contrary,
yes, I think
on
these
the
are the
contrary.
kind of people who are like, oh shit, there's stuff I've been wanting to do. I'm getting that sense, and with these people gone, I can actually
Yeah,
try to do it.
yeah.
And I think
Oh,
these, I think
totally.
the smart employees, which I think is most of them, are taking advantage of the situation to actually implement some success.
Yeah, and trial
I,
stuff that we weren't given the permission to trial in the last couple of years.
I want to say this. This is going to be an interesting take about Dolly too. I don't know him. I met him at the games. Seemed like an outstanding gentleman. Cared about his appearance. Looked like he worked out. Very polite.
Yeah,
Seemed
very
smart.
fit, loves
Yeah,
CrossFit.
yeah.
Yeah, totally in it. Yeah.
I will say this. The company would be in a much better place if all he cared about was making money as opposed to the CFO before him. Do you know what I mean by that? Because the CFO before him had ideology before making money, and politics
Um,
before making money. And so, like, even
oh,
if he is
yeah.
just a bottom lines guy, the company would be in a significantly better place, because then at least he'd be listening to ideas for a reason that everyone could understand and get on board. Like,
Well, yeah,
so usually it's like, holy fuck, we can't just worry about the money with CrossFit because that's not what we are. But hey, man, even if he was that guy, it would still be better than what we had before. With the interim
he
CEO,
understands like you do.
she was a disaster. Say that again.
He, he understands like you do that if CrossFit makes the right decisions for the affiliates, it means future success down the line for CrossFit itself, right? So, i.e., that anything we undertake needs to be a win-win.
Yeah.
You know, CrossFit and the affiliates aren't two separate entities. We're
I'll give
one
you an
and the same.
example of that. Yeah, I'll give you an example of that, which I think is the most important one. CrossFit needs to publicly reassert themselves as having the mantle of the greatest trainers in the world. So that's a win for HQ through media. Basically, it just means we just need to glorify the level 1 trainers and the seminar staff like we used to back in the day, like crazy. So it's like the most desired job in fitness. And so, like, when those people walk in the room, everyone has their attention, and because we know it, but we've abandoned that mantle in the media space for the last 6 years. But that was a cornerstone of who we were. I heard you actually talking about it on a podcast you did a year ago. You said it a little differently, but we have to get that mantle back in just a steady drumbeat. Every week we need to be seeing videos of those level 1 trainers and how good they are, and that will help. Going back to what you said, the affiliates and HQ's bottom line.
Yeah, doing the L1 or
Easy day.
L2 shouldn't be a box ticking exercise for the seminar staff, nor should it be for the participants.
Right.
And when you take away some of the ceremony of going on, so I mean, like back in the day, you'd go on your level 1, you know, you'd be given the T-shirt. It's like, oh, you know, the T-shirt, you know, and it was. I mean, I can't remember if it's like a Reebok T-shirt. I can't remember what it was at the moment.
No,
It was a
even
great
before
T-shirt.
then, it was
I put
just
it
some
upstairs, right?
printed. Yeah.
So when I cleared out all my T-shirts, I keep getting, like you get like given hundreds of T-shirts every year, right? So you clean out the stuff you're not wearing. That's the one T-shirt that I kept.
Yep.
You know, that's the emotional link to that moment, that weekend in London, you know, like 16 years ago, right? And so by not doing that, and then we no longer do the tests on the weekends. So you get your certificate in an envelope at the seminar. You used to be handed, you know, did you pass, or was it, you know, or thank you for participating, which meant you know, like that sort of thing. And but all of that was ceremonial, and it gave a huge amount of importance. And also the photo, you know, the Saturday evening photo
Yes.
before the social, that was
Yes.
posted. You know,
Yes.
that was on main site. All the seminars were posted. And
Yep.
so it sounds silly, but those little details give an emotional link. You're with like-minded people. You feel safe. You got a sense of belonging. You now belong to that level 1 cohort, right?
Yep.
And then it's how do you then connect with the level 1s so that your next connecting point isn't necessarily the level 2? Because like my members that go on the level 1, they have no intention of coaching. So they're never going to go and do the level 2. So what do? Do they stop after the level 1? They fall off. They're no longer part of that cohort. So I think we need to make it more ceremonial around the level 1, but then find other ways of connecting and keeping them in the training universe. Okay, you get the professional coach email and stuff, but there are other things that we can do with seminars and that kind of stuff. And you know, one of the big ideas that's being floated around, and if those in power have the courage to do it, would be to actually just maintain your level 1 through CUs, as opposed to getting people to have to go and take a level 1 again in a few years' time. We'll go for level 2, right? And that's the largest cohort of coaches in the world, is a level 1 cohort of coaches. And I would say it's the second best seminar. It's not the first. It's the second best seminar in the world for coaches.
What's
simply because the first best is the level 2.
Oh, I know. I've more and more. That seems to be the. I've heard that more and more in the last couple of years. Heard the level 2 is just insane. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Is the. I mean, I'm old like a dinosaur in the space, but for me, the level 1 obviously blew my mind because I wasn't a sporting kid, and it blew my mind. But I also couldn't believe the culture that was disseminated there. I've never taken the level 2, but I mean, I've filmed dozens of them. But that's cool to hear that. That's cool that we could have an argument about which one's the best, and they're both in the CrossFit realm. But I do think that
they need a little bit of update, maybe. Maybe, but it doesn't mean you have to change the essence of it.
I was so excited to see my cohort's picture on main site. I forgot how cool that was. Yeah, every month it was like on Monday morning.
Monday morning you'd see, and then you're looking at who were the seminar staff that you knew and where they'd been, and it's pretty cool. It's like a patchwork of like 25 photos, right?
And there would always be these. I remember on the media team, there would always be these we would always be like, that Flowmaster sucks. They took their camera sucks. Look how blurry their picture is, and we would be just like sending nasty emails to them. You didn't get everyone in the photo. I mean, that thing was like,
yeah. The photo was very important, and it was, and like Dave would look at every single photo to make sure it was up to muster. Again, no gang signs. No mooning. Like in the UK, we tend to show our bums when we shouldn't. That kind of stuff.
I'm okay with that. I've given that.
Yeah,
I'd accept some. I've learned to accept some butthole.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the old Japanese flag there. You bring out the worst in me, Savon.
My group photo is hanging on the wall at the ranch. Oh, that's awesome.
That's fantastic. That is good. Yeah. So I think the ceremonial part of taking a seminar is important, and then the connection piece afterwards and how we keep them in the ecosystem. And it's like I haven't coached in 7 years, so am I going to dedicate that amount of time to taking my level 3? I was the first European to fail the level 3, by the way, because I didn't study for it. I just went to take the test, thinking that I'd done so many level 1s and level 2s that I thought I'd walk it, and I didn't. I got my ass handed to me. And then I went back to the box with the scores, and I just said to the guys, "Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you, but I just went to take my level 3." And my head coaches and my director of training, like, "Oh, cool, congratulations!" I said, no, congratulations. I got absolutely pistol whipped, right? And I showed them the scores, and they go, "Oh, you really suck." I go, "Yeah." So who's going to be the first to pass the level 3? And all of the people in that room with me then passed the level 3. And so, so I have no intention of right now with what I've got on my plate, studying for the level 3, but I've had to take my level 2 3 times, right, to maintain it. So I don't mind doing that. I'm part of CrossFit, and I understand, and I love to go and see the different seminar stuff and stuff. But as an affiliate owner, that doesn't necessarily please you all that much. You've got to go and do the same course again in X number of years, take a weekend, travel, all that kind of stuff, right? So is there not a way of maintaining the level 2 through CUs as opposed to absolutely forcing them to go and take the same course they've already taken? That kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's some things that can be done, I think, to make sure that the cohort in our coaching universe stay connected. And I would love to bring back, I mean, you remember all the kettlebell, striking, football, mobility. SME, I'd love to see all the SMEs back. That would be fantastic, right?
Let me talk to you about leadership, and it is a little bit unfair because of the leader we had, but we had a leader who had even look at. Let me just pose this just as a rough example. So right now in the leadership in the United States, we have Donald Trump, and he's clearly running the country like a corporation, right? In my 53 years, I've never heard a leader talk about deals he's making. He keeps talking. Yeah. He runs it like a corporation, and I've never seen that aspect of it. Right? I've never seen a leader do that. It's usually more like feel good things the leaders are doing, like, hey, we're curing AIDS in Africa, or we're feeding
Yeah,
homeless
they generally play
people.
on sentiment. Yeah, they generally
Yes,
play on
yes.
sentiment as opposed to being
And
pragmatic.
this guy is more like, hey, everything's business. Like, hey, we're drilling here. It's just all it's business.
Yeah,
Tangible things. So we had this leader in Greg Glassman who had a mastery over the a complete mastery over the curriculum that is
yeah,
CrossFit, right?
yeah,
The philosophy, the methodology, just everything about it. And so forever we were just getting this constant reiteration of the truth that is CrossFit, right? Just I don't want to say repackaging, but he had this ability, like one of those gurus who sits at the top, to keep pointing at God in 1,000 different ways.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
like, and so
Or to shed a different angle on the same piece of scripture. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yes. And how it was applicable to you. And then within that, we had the below him, the disciples, all the L1 team, they have a way of then taking that vision and then also coming up with cues in order to put people in the right place to get to that truth, right? And so they had that example. They were, every time you went to an L1, whether you'd been around forever or not, you would hear a new cue that you had never heard before.
Yeah,
You're like, holy
yeah,
shit. But all to this, going to the same thing: eat right, move right. Still never going away from the truth. No one ever saying, nah, you don't need to squat to parallel. It was always still to get to the goal. Is that going to be mandatory? Like, does the leader have? Is there good, like? I mean, clearly Rosa and Don weren't those guys, and that's no fault of their own, right? But that's not something that you're going to learn on the job training. Like, do you think that the leader has to have that ability to constantly be just
I would like the leader I would
reworking the
like the leader
vision?
to have. I would like the leader to understand all the scripture. You know, I would like
Is
the
that
leader to have that
possible? How are
ability.
they going to find that guy? How are
Would
they going to
would
find that guy outside of the realm?
I don't know. Would Berkshire be ready to do it? Um, I don't know.
I don't think the staff are ever going to respond to anyone unless they're fucking masters of the scripture.
Yeah, the um,
Because someone new is going to come in, and you know the routine, you know the rigmarole. There's going to be 6 months where everyone's
there's a
kissing
world
ass.
of difference between. I mean, like I look at some of the people that we work with who. I mean, like who has the caliber of Greg? I mean, Greg's brain is outstanding, right? You know, I mean, if you've managed to spend an evening with him, you know, around the fire at his place in Santa Cruz, and he's talking with passion, and you know, his eyes are sparkling, right, for the right reasons, you know, and he's explaining all the good stuff. You're like, well, this guy's brain is like he's in another dimension. It's fantastic. So I don't know that we'll ever get a leader like that, but someone who understands what he shared, actually believes in it, understands that just because you're doing 3 workouts a week doesn't mean you're doing CrossFit. You know, you got to understand that difference. You know, I would like to see that, but you know, will Berkshire find someone like that? I don't know. I mean, is that in the job description?
Do they even know that? Do you agree with me that we have to find someone as close to him as possible in that way, that it can't just be, or maybe they have to find someone who can put someone in the right place who can do that too. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they
Oh yeah,
appoint
totally.
maybe they have a
Totally.
CEO who knows what he doesn't know, and he points someone as
Puts in
president
place a
to,
COO who does, right? Yeah.
yeah, or a president, or whatever
Yeah.
fucking title they want to come up with.
Yeah. Or the other way around, you have the CEO who does love the scripture, and you've got a COO who's MBA'd up to the gills and is super structured and you know
Right.
can execute on what the vision is, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to take more than one person to really put CrossFit where it deserves to be. It's not going to be there's no Messiah. There's no one who's going to come in and save everybody, right? I think, but I'm super positive because the team that's in place at the moment is really really good, you know, and
Yes.
I you know, you don't have to like them personally, and you don't have to agree with everything they say and all this kind of stuff. But the job they've got, are they good at it? It's like Jay, very good. You know, Dalibor, man, I was with him for a few days in Miami and super impressed. And you know, Jenna Hooker on media, man, you know, she's she's in it. You know, she's rolled her sleeves up and she's ready to get dirty. I think
I'm
whoever
most
does
impressed
come
with
in
her
as a
open
leader,
finish. I'm most impressed with her open finish. That was
don't
speaking
mention
to
the
me.
open. I didn't even put my scores up. My 26.1 was so bad. I was like, I was kicking the bench in front of the box for like half an hour.
You should have lowered your wall ball target. I lowered mine to 8 feet.
or change the weight like some did, right?
Yeah.
I think whoever does come in, I do believe there are a few brave decisions need to be made around organization, around being unafraid to reclaim certain things, including the coaching space, but also the community. You know, at Waterpalooza, and at Waterpalooza, I've been there 7 times, right? And I hadn't been there last year. And it rains every bloody year. You know, people go, "Oh my God, every year it rains." You know, every year something's cancelled. And yet, you know, we still go back. Why? Because the atmosphere is amazing. The community's fun. You know, people just love it. You know, love a bit of a barbell. There's chalk all over the place, bikinis, you know, half naked, ripped Greek gods walking around. You know, is that Waterpalooza's community? Yeah, as a subgroup of what CrossFit is. You know, does the French Throwdown have a community? We wouldn't have any community if it weren't CrossFit. Our community is CrossFit's. You know, and I think we need to make some brave decisions in the sporting space as well to reclaim what's ours. And I think Dave's doing a really good job with the games. This last iteration, he made some smart changes from 25 to 26. Hopefully, we'll get some consistency and even some, you know, greater visibility moving into 27, 28. But I think around the community events,
opens, the 25 Open and the 26 Open, arguably equally as good as the best opens ever in terms of the
I would
open
agree with
shows.
you. I mean, I saw the
energy,
criticizing. Nothing heavy, nothing.
I'm talking about the mood. The mood was awesome around Froning in 25, absolutely. Tyson Bagent, and then this year the mood was so,
even better in 26.
Yeah,
it was
so good.
Even better in 26.
Yeah,
and you know, you kind of hit a low point at the games in 24.
Yeah,
and there's this bounce back that's happening in sentiment, in belief, in understanding. And you know, Dave and his team, they've listened over the last few years. I used to always complain that the workouts were really hard to run in a class format in a box. You know, you'd get super long workouts, overhead lunging with barbells and all this kind of stuff. It's like you've been to my box pads, like I can get 3 people overhead lunging with a barbell at a time. So if you want me to sign up 150 people or 200 people to the Open, you don't give me enough days to get them through the heats, right? You know, and so he's really adapted the Open to being affiliate friendly, and I'm fine with that. Why? Because you've got the quarters afterwards, where you've got, you know, smaller cohorts, and you can hammer them with heavy barbells and super long workouts, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So I think the programming's been good. I think the vibe's been good. The communication around it. I think the participation of the athletes, the top end athletes, have been really good. Like, you know, playing on social media with you guys and all this kind of stuff. That's, you know, a bit of banter, as we'd say in the UK, you know. You call it shit talk, which you're very good at, by the way.
Thank you.
I think it's better than I've ever felt it. And, you know, I had a definite vibe at the games last year from, you know, 2015, and you did too, and we spoke about it very, very briefly, you know. I just think, yeah, we're doing all the right things at the moment, and but there are a couple of brave decisions to be made. I think whoever comes in, if they can make those with the sign off of Berkshire, I think CrossFit's in for a couple of extremely good years, if not more. Yeah.
Just when you talk about the community, my thought about the community is it doesn't really need. This is a sweeping generalization. It doesn't really need any attention from HQ. What HQ needs to focus on is the affiliates, that community, and taking back the mantle, and then the community will come. Like, I don't need, like, we were always told when we make media, don't worry about the community, make everything for the affiliates. Everything should be for the affiliates. Affiliates, and then the affiliate, and then that will, it's kind of like if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And we don't need to be meddling in what the everyday member thinks and does. We need to be just focusing on giving the going back to taking the mantle. The affiliates need the pride and the knowledge and the belief that where they came from were the best trainers in the world, and from there CrossFit has the best media. That's another cornerstone that needs to be taken back, so that anytime you go on Google and search something, it's a CrossFit video that pops up when you type in push-ups. And if HQ focused on that, I think then the community would flourish.
Yeah, I think also, honestly, the programming piece, CAP has a part to play in that too.
Tell me about that. Why is that?
Well, most boxes now are either totally just using someone else's programming or being inspired by something else, right? So we've got about 40% of affiliates at the moment that regularly go into CAP and download.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is good. It's good. But
that's
40%
a huge
is
number.
80 and it's got 100, right? And we don't. I don't think we want it to be at 80%, because I think it's healthy to have an environment with provens and HWPOs and mayhems and no shortcuts and the program and all this kind of stuff. I think that's super healthy. But I do believe that's part of the education for us for us to say we've got the best trainers in the world. Well, they've got to be delivering the best 1 hour experience to their members. And I believe that if you read CAP or someone else's programming, you're getting educated because you're understanding their thought process in programming, but also how you're going to deliver that. How you're going to present it in 60 minutes. How you're going to brief it. What's your floor plan layout looking like? Why? How do you scale to different levels? All this kind of stuff. What sort of after party can go in with that workout? It's education. For me, all the boxes that are getting inspired by programming, that's part of them educating themselves. It's like that drip feeding of knowledge. And we, even if you've got a head coach who's been around for 10, 15 years, it's a huge time saver too. So I think having really good programming, including the affiliation, is a good USP. And as Greg used to say, what do we have to do for the affiliates? We have to give them a unique opportunity that they can get nowhere else. With CrossFit.
Yep.
And so I think programming is a small part of that, but it's still a part of it. I think the education piece is part of that. I think we need to give them opportunities to actually see direct revenue from being an affiliate. They need advantages with open quarters, games tickets, seminars, owner education, whatever it is, right? And all this education needs to be the odd expression of tools, not rules. If you don't do it, you're shit house. No. You need to be laying the table. Those that want to come to it can come to it, and those that don't, no problem. You're still part of the community, though, right? So I think that unique proposition needs to be different today than it was 10 years ago, because the ecosystem's changed. It's evolved. A young coach now who's in a box, who's thinking of, or in any gym, PTing or whatever, and thinking, well, maybe I'd like to go and open a structure. I'd like to have my own 4 walls. Do I call it Savan training, or do I go and associate myself with someone? Do I go and franchise with F, whatever it is?
Yep.
Do I do the hybrid rockstar matching shorts, shaved legs thing, or do I go the affiliation route with CrossFit? So back in the day when you discovered CrossFit, there was only CrossFit, and so I think we need to give them arguments where they don't have to ask themselves a question. The best place to give the best programming, the best training, to find the best coaches, to give the best results and sustainable results to your members with literally transformational coaching and an opportunity to actually earn a living through it, has to be by affiliating with CrossFit. And we can do that. I seriously believe we can do that. We can attract this next generation of coaches. And for the old dogs like me, we can actually make our lives easier for the next 15, 20 years before we hand off to the next generation. I think those are big opportunities to, and it, if we can go from 10,000 gyms to 14, we're changing way more lives. The open is benefits, the number of bums on seats, but the affiliate it's the heartbeat of everything. And if affiliate sentiment is good, we're in good health. Affiliate sentiment stutters, we're coughing, and that's it.
This is a general characterization, but this is my belief. And if you don't believe this supposition, then don't worry about answering the question. Okay. My supposition is, in the early days, there were people like me and you who we're working out, and then someone says, hey, have you done this CrossFit thing? Or we stumbled upon .com and we started doing the workouts, and we're like, holy shit, this is crazy. And we appreciated the challenge, and we appreciated the revolution, squatting below parallel, climbing ropes. We liked how hard the workouts were. And and we were like, wow, this is really crazy. And as you mentioned that in that other podcast you did, wow, I don't have to go to an Olympic training facility. This is the recipe right here. Someone's giving me to become some elite physical capacity that put me head and shoulders above everyone else. I'm noticing body composition change in the first 2 weeks that I'm doing this. They even have a nutrition program that's easy to follow. I don't got to sign up for fucking, some nutrition program. It's just all right there. And so those people picked it up, and because they fell in love with it so much, they couldn't stop talking about it. And then eventually they open a gym, right? They're like, God, I just want to do this full time and share this with other people. Is that as opposed to when I think of someone who opens a Curves or an F45, I think they're doing it more. They're looking for a business opportunity. Whereas people who open CrossFit gyms are just like so in love with it that they want to share it and they want to be immersed in it. Do you think that's still the typical person who opens a CrossFit gym?
I do, yeah.
Me too. Okay,
I mean,
good.
as you know, I work with a lot of affiliates on that are having a tough time, mate. You know, and I spent, like every day I'm talking to an affiliate that's asking some
How many
detail.
affiliate gatherings do you?
Yeah.
How many affiliate gatherings do you
gatherings
think you've been to? Yeah, and let's say in the last 2 years.
Last year alone, I did. I spoke 17 times at different gatherings, but those are including coaches' congresses.
Yeah, those
and
count.
then I was in Poland. I was in Australia. I was in Brazil. I was in Portugal, Spain, Italy. I was up in Belgium. I was in the UK, France. I was in Germany. I haven't been like out to Korea or Japan for a couple of years. China. Yeah.
So arguably, you've had more touch points with affiliates than anyone else on the planet. There's a good argument for that.
I'd never looked at it that way, but possibly, yeah. I mean, like varied group. I mean, there's probably someone in the US that's had more touch points with US affiliates, but like as a varied cohort, global cohort, possibly, yeah.
Okay.
And
go on.
And I think most of them are the profile you're saying. And it's like, I used to work with someone who go, oh yeah, affiliate owners are such bad business, such bad, business leaders. And I'm like, yeah, but that's by design. We always
don't
wanted
come
to
in that
attract
door.
the person that fell in love with CrossFit first,
Yeah.
And I talk about this sometimes. There are 4 loves to fall in love with: to be a really successful box owner, but you can be a good box owner without being a successful one. You know what I mean? Like, well, it depends how you define success, right? But if you're looking at financial success, you can be a good box owner without necessarily having financial success. But you got to fall in love with CrossFit first. Don't fall in love with numbers and optimization, and don't fall in love with influencing people and selling. That's 3 and 4. Influence and selling is number 3, and number 4 is optimization. Number 1 is CrossFit. You got to fall in love with it for yourself. Then you want to be passionate and want to share it with other people. And then when you start to share it with other people, that's because you're falling in love with other people more than you love yourself, right? And so those are the box owners we've been looking for. We've been looking for people that love the methodology, and then not only do they love it for themselves, they've tried it on themselves. So they're believers, They've found Jesus. You know what I mean? And now they're going out.
Yep.
And then they go out and they're going to go knock on doors, with their Bible in their hand. This is the level 1 manual or the level 2. It's like, but without that, they're not credible. They're this vacuous people looking for a quick fix or a quick win, financial opportunity. And we've never wanted to attract just those people. Now, the other way around, we have got people that come and say, hey, maybe there's some money in this, and then they fall in love with CrossFit, but it's more the exception than the other way around. So I think we do have a role in helping those that are passionate, that fall in love with people, understand how they can grow sustainably, to be able to keep the lights on and be successful, and to develop wealth for themselves. Do they not? Of course, they deserve a living, right?
Yep.
And by doing that, they can be around in 10 years' time, and then they can look at maybe moving to a better location, or sticking in a few more showers, or giving a bit more service, whatever it is, right? But without losing that core passion. You must never lose that core passion. The thing that saddens me is when I go into a box and someone thinks they're giving CrossFit, and all they're giving is a workout. Then there's no moment in the member journey where they're attempting to really get that person to integrate CrossFit with the whole social component of being part of the community, with the passion of going in and watching some videos, reading some stuff, understanding the component on nutrition. We know that's that base of the pyramid. So for me, that's the issue we have with some of our affiliates, in particular those that are good business owners but were never passionate about CrossFit. And I think those people will drift away from CrossFit faster than the believers who are having business issues.
Fall in love with it, then the desire to share it. Then comes number 3, influence. What's influence?
Influence is just selling. It's a transfer of enthusiasm. You know, when you sell, you're influencing someone's decision. And influence is also leadership. It's about influencing your team, who then influence your members. But if you can become good at influencing, you can influence people to want to come in and trial your gym. You can influence people that during the trial session, they're going to join your gym. Then you can influence them to really integrate CrossFit into their life and to become an ambassador, not to bounce, right? And then you can influence them to actually bring their members in for the next marathon row or the next open evening and so on and so forth. So by loving people, you take interest with them. And when I talk about selling and influence, I'm not talking about financial selling. I'm talking about needs. You love people so much, you want to understand what they need.
Yeah.
And you and I both know that what CrossFit delivers goes above and beyond just the physical. We don't just lose 10 pounds and put on some muscle mass, right, with CrossFit. It transcends everything. It makes us better human beings. And so by understanding that and by taking an interest in people, you sell in the correct way, which is selling based on someone's needs, not on price. You do that, they join for the right reason, you know, and then they're going to stay longer, and they will literally integrate CrossFit into their life. Now, when you've influenced them to integrate CrossFit into their lives, you're then at the point of like, okay, I'm running this thing and I've got maybe more members than I anticipated. Goodness, I thought it was just going to be me and my missus. And now I've got 5 coaches. I got part-time at reception. It's like, wow, you know, how do I optimize this? And that's when you start to measure certain things to make sure you're optimizing your resources in order to give the best service to your members. For me, those are the 4 things you need to fall in love with. CrossFit, fall in love for yourself already, but never fall out of love with that. Then you start to enjoy sharing it with other people more than you start to enjoy it yourself. Doesn't mean neglect yourself, but it means that your mindset is more around, how am I setting this up for my members? How am I doing this for members too? Instead of like, what time am I training? What time's my snack? When do I take my snooze and all that kind of stuff, right? Which is why good athletes rarely make great coaches, is because to be a good athlete, you've got to be pretty selfish by design, right? But when you lose that selfishness and you turn towards other people, then you start to attract other people. But then you need to learn about psychology, emotional intelligence, sales techniques, neurolinguistic programming, body language, all that kind of stuff will help you influence other people, and learn about leadership as well. And that's the third thing. And the last thing is the optimization through understanding which numbers to look at and understanding what the actions are in order to improve those numbers. If you can grow through those 4 loves, you're going to have a long and I'd say very successful career within CrossFit and the CrossFit affiliate community. Sorry about that, but you got me going.
This is
you got
perfect.
my juices flowing.
I love this paradigm. I love this paradigm. So what you also just described is the arc of a CrossFit employee. So it was a startup, and there was the founder, and a bunch of us started seeing it on the internet. So we fell in love with it, and we fell in love with it so much that we suckered. Dave has the same story. I'm sure you do too, and I do too. You start looking for people, even strangers, to share it with, even at the park, or you walk up to people at the gym, or if they come up to you, and next thing you know, you have your phone number and you're working out with strangers and you're setting up appointments with them. We so many of us have done that, right? We didn't want to open an affiliate. We fell in love and we start wanting to share it. And I started having this cohort around me at the park and at the gym.
That's you influencing people. That's you sharing. That's your selling is a transfer of enthusiasm. So when you're doing that, you're transferring that you're selling.
Yeah. And so you can't so you fall in love with it, you start sharing it, then you apply for a job at HQ, and they tell you, hey, just get in where you fit in the early days. You know what I mean? We don't even know if we can pay you. So now you're like finding stuff to do around HQ, and then and then it starts heading towards optimization. So let me bring you back to the original conversation we were having. I don't think and this was the part I liked. You said you integrate it into your life. So we all know the CrossFit employees, especially from 2006 to 2018, all of us had integrated into our life. It wasn't our job. We'd integrated it into our lives. Like if you went traveling and you worked at HQ, you went into an affiliate, and you just, whatever you did there, you were also working, even though it was your vacation, right? You were always, because you would integrate into your life. That's a tough thing to find. To find those people, I don't think companies like Berkshire understand like that's the kind of employee you need for this thing. It would be like having the best examples is like having someone who works at your church but doesn't believe in God. It would be just a weird phenomenon.
It
They don't wake up in the morning and pray. Like we all wake up in the morning and like we're like thinking, when am I going to get my workout in? What's my 6 o'clock appointment? What, like, you know what I mean? Everything is around this CrossFit thing.
Yeah. And everything feels
Everything.
brighter once you've you've looked after your nutrition, you've done your workout, you're optimizing yourself as a human being, right? We understand that. I don't know the Berkshire. Obviously, I met a few years ago some of the people from Berkshire.
It's not their fault either. I'm not blaming them. They just don't know. They just don't know what they don't know.
Right?
Yeah. They're not in the cult. They're not. Yeah.
But I think they're becoming more aware because I can see it from some of the decisions they've made recently, and the last one being what happened when we were over at Waterpalooza, right?
Right.
That was I think I'd be reasonable in believing that was a decision made by them. And they're like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good decision to make. That maybe they're getting the gist. For me, the biggest issue with that person, without mentioning who she was that I don't think she loved CrossFit. And
no,
so
she didn't. I have a half dozen stories, and I'm sure you have a dozen stories where she openly explained that she did not love CrossFit.
So
it was very clear.
Yeah. You'd like to think that everybody within the CrossFit community, there must be really good. And I mean, like Dali Ball, he trains, he's super fit. Jada Coons, he hands me my ass in every workout. These guys, they live and breathe CrossFit now. And they're excellent technicians in their jobs. And I think that's what you should be hoping for throughout the organization.
It's perfectly okay at CrossFit to show up to a meeting late if you were working out. It's perfectly okay to show up sweaty. It's perfectly okay. Like
or you hadn't put your shoes on yet because you're just coming back from
yeah. And that culture doesn't need nurturing or cultivating, but it can't have anyone obstruct it. If there's an obstruction, that would be bad.
Yeah, and also when being politically correct gains you more preference than actually caring and being good at your job.
Yeah,
that's when there's obstruction as well.
Especially when you're managing the truth, which CrossFit is. Especially if you're managing the truth.
So are those not directly, I would say, conflicting, right? Being politically correct and wanting just the truth. The truth sometimes isn't pleasing to hear. Yeah.
Greg used to say in the final years, from like 2016 to 2020, one of his mantras was, "We have the greatest job in the world. All we have to do is tell the truth." That's what we're selling. He's like, it's so easy. All we have to do is keep just selling the truth.
When you look at all the stuff that Greg was fighting for over those years, whether it was big soda, big pharma, and there were some pretty big solo battles he was fighting, and telling the truth. And he was up against this huge swamp of corruption. And you look now what's coming out as being the truth. Greg was right all the time. I mean, like every fight he took is now going mainstream.
Why didn't HQ celebrate that win when RFK got the food pyramid flipped upside down? That was a time. Yeah, that was huge. No one, even you probably speak to Greg also, but I speak to Greg regularly, and he's like, "Holy shit, I didn't think I would see that in my lifetime." RFK coming out and being like, "Sugar causes cancer." He's like, "I really did not think anyone would say that." He's like, "You could get killed for saying that."
I sent him a congratulations message to Greg when it happened, because for me it's a fruit of his labor, whether he wants to take the credit for it or not.
Right.
And of the CrossFit community, right? In the US government listens to what's coming from the ground, right? Empirical evidence, right? And it goes against what's already anchored in all the institutions in Washington and throughout the United States, and you manage to turn it on its head. That's a huge revolution. And yeah, good point. I hadn't thought of like, why aren't we celebrating this more? I was more in the I was feeling very smug of like, yeah, you see, I even sent it to my mom. I said, "Mom, this is what I've been telling you." It's like,
yeah. So like, I think we needed a leader to come on and do a show and be like, "Holy fuck, guys.
This is huge.
This is huge." Yes. Like, just basically, like, tell the affiliates how great they are for being 20 years ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
completely
There
jerk
could have
off
been
the
legs in it.
affiliates.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I think Dom was in a tricky situation. You know, I think he's had you can like him, dislike him, you can like what he's done or dislike, but I wouldn't have wanted to be in his shoes throughout, this period. And I think he just, I think his he didn't have the bandwidth for it, and to think of that at the time, and maybe it should have come from media market. I don't know, but yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I think it would be a shame if in the level one, when we're presenting the nutrition lecture, we're not saying, hey, we've been talking about this for 25 years, and this is what does it look like now? Well, it looks like what RFK's just put in place, right? Absolutely, so this is
And
the
we have
truth.
millions of people. And we have millions of people who've been living by it, and look at how they survive. Look at their bodies, and look at how they survive through COVID, and look at how their hospital bills. They spend it all on physios, not on cardiac surgeons. It's
I mean, look at you. Look at you.
Yeah,
20
yeah,
years on, you're better looking stud muffin than you were. It's like
yeah,
healthier, strict muscle upping.
doing it all.
Barefoot.
How long do you think we float out here before we get a CEO? You by the way, you don't sound rushed at all. You from your insights where you sit and you work it for CrossFit, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from where you
I work with Jay. Yeah.
and so where you sit, you see good things happening. You're not like you don't sense
Listen. I'm
a
in no
power
hurry at all to
vacuum.
have a
And
CEO.
say that again.
The most important thing is we have affiliates sharing the mojo. The rest just facilitates that. So long as the affiliates are there, everything else is a bit of bit of luxury, to be honest. We will need a leader, right? You gotta have those moments. You gotta have someone who's setting out the longer term vision. But you can go easily. I mean, like Belgium went for a year and a half with no government. You know what I mean? So I think
Is that
they
true?
just had,
They did.
yeah, they went for a year and a half with no government. It was the parliament was totally paralyzed for a year and a half. So civil servants just run the country. I mean, it didn't do the country all that much good, to be honest. But they it didn't completely burn to the ground. So I think we can go a few months. I think rather than going fast, I think it's better that they get the right person. In particular, like I don't know if Berkshire still want to sell. If they don't want to sell, if they want to keep it 18 months, 2 years, 1 year, another 5. I have no idea. But whatever the plan is, they're going to have to find the right person for it. That would be. I mean, that's a tough gig. If they're looking to sell, and you look at what's happened and what's come before, you're going, well, poof.
Well, on one hand, everything's always for sale, right? I mean, like, like if someone came up to my front door and was like, "I'll give you $5 million for your house," I'd be like, "Kids, get the fuck out of your room." You know what I mean? Everyone jump in the
Out of your
car.
bedroom.
Yeah, you can have everything.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, hey, do you think sometimes people are like CrossFit's gonna die? Whenever I close my eyes and look into my crystal ball, I can't even see anything remotely like that. It's not. I can never see it dying ever.
Even if the company disappeared, disintegrated, there was nothing being produced next year. I'd continue my gyms as CrossFit Louvre.
Yeah, that's what
and
I just can't picture it.
that. CrossFit will never die.
Right.
Yeah. But you've got to have this central piece, this central umbrella for and no, I just think it's because other brands have staken a claim to different pieces, that people think, oh my God, CrossFit. It's not, Yeah, we have to update a few things, and again, as I've already said, we've got to make a few brave decisions. I think there's a little bit of restructuring that needs doing, reallocation of certain resources and that kind of stuff. But there's nothing that's impossible.
When
I
you
think actually, like the success of things like High Rocks and different formats of affiliation, that kind of stuff, present really good opportunities for us. Yeah,
I agree. When you say make brave decisions, Do you mean something that might cull the herd, but like it's like it would involve like pruning? Like when my dad prunes my apple trees, I can't even watch. But he's always right. The next year, I get a bigger apple, supply.
within
But it always
within the
hurts me
company,
because it's
within the
just in
yeah,
general. Do you think that it
yeah.
would be taking?
I you know I don't think the affiliate cohort needs pruning.
Okay.
I think it prunes itself, right? Eventually, right? Either you're good enough and you're giving enough to succeed. I think there's some great coaches out there that own gyms who need some help in actually operating it and not just being a coach and letting all the other stuff pile up and then they just can't handle it and they get burnout. We have an element of that, right? But I don't think the affiliate cohort need pruning. I think they need more opportunities,
Yeah.
which we can do. I think in the company, obviously, I think a new CEO is going to look at every single line that's on the P&L and he's going to question it and is going to want to make sure that every dollar that's being spent is in the best interests of the affiliate and the future of CrossFit. And I think there's some decisions that need making. Yeah. What do you-
From my perspective, one of my biggest criticisms is that there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And when I've dealt with Apple or with Facebook, when I worked at CrossFit, it was always like, wow, how do these people ever get anything done? They have so much fucking management. They just don't have people who can do stuff, and everything's being outsourced. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. These machines are just bogged down. And then you see Elon buys Twitter and fires 40% of its staff,
Mhm.
and nothing happens. Um, I I
Well,
find I pardon me?
the accounts got better. The
Yeah.
accounts.
So when I see these people come in like Rosa and Dawn from this tech background, I think, wow, I feel like they just stacked CrossFit because before everyone was a worker bee, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
everyone was a worker bee.
Yeah.
There were very few people who just pushed papers around.
Yeah.
And that's what I would like to see it go to. And I would like it to see it be more nimble, especially from the media perspective, and take more risks. Like I'll just give you an example. It's mind-boggling to me that CrossFit doesn't have a Sunday night show at 8 p.m. with an open call-in line where they have a couple rambunctious hosts who just battle with people. Do you know what I mean? Like the late night
Yeah.
radio shows when I was a kid. I think a show like
Yeah.
that would kill. But that's going to take some risk.
Yeah.
But no money.
Well,
But just some
a,
risk and some
a
nimbleness.
little bit of investment to get
Very
it.
little.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you can't have the outside media being more nimble than the internal media. You can,
yeah.
it's
I think one of the issues is that when Berkshire bought, I think it was one of the biggest uplifts that it was sold on was the opportunity to get a technological accelerator for it,
yeah.
And I think you got to understand who you're serving and how to serve them before you accelerate anything. And I think maybe we took the wrong route on the technology side.
Yeah.
I'm an affiliate, and you start to tell me that you want to be delivering CrossFit directly to the end consumer in a Globo gym. I'm like going, well, how's that helping the affiliate cohort? So I think maybe there's a readjustment there in what tech should be used for and the resources into tech. Maybe just my opinion on a Tuesday afternoon. And then on media, yeah, I think some risks. But I think we are taking a few more risks. They're coming slowly.
For sure. For sure.
You got Chase. You got Chase back. You got a few things back. It's
Yes.
like in the
Yes.
broadcasts and
I agree.
There are a few more F-bombs going out there. There's a point where like, if I used the wrong gender or something, I was in the naughty cupboard.
Right.
And now you've got F-bombs in marketing and stuff. So it's,
I agree. I didn't mean to suggest there wasn't progress. There's been tons of progress, but obviously I'm pretty focused on the media side, and it is what's forward facing for the entire company. Let me say this, Daniel, which was very interesting what you just said. Let me reiterate this. anyone could go to Grok and ask it to do programming. Hey, search all the best programmers in the world, build the program for me that's best. That is not who we're ever going to serve. And it sounds like to me that like when you bring in tech guys, that's who they thought they were competing with. That's not who we're ever going to compete with. Those people, we can't save those people. If everyone wants to go do that and have Grok program for them, we're not going to stop them. And I think that's what you're saying. We have to optimize what we do, which is in-person training with a good cohort of people that's around you that won't let you drink a Coke in your fucking gym and will give you an attaboy when you get your first pull-up. And that's who we're doing. And we want to know who did our programming. We like that we know it's Spencer Hendel and
we want to be able to hear their
and if someone else wants to go do the other shit and have Grok do their programming and it's the best programming in the world, go ahead. We're never going to serve those people. We can't think we're competing with those people.
Yeah,
we're not them. That's not what we're doing.
I think the way I see tech is, what can we produce that would make an affiliate's life easier?
Yeah,
that can help them connect in different ways with their members. It's like a silly thing. Mona, I'm looking at how are we really helping our members achieve results by changing what they've got in their fridge, right, and in their cupboards, And I'm thinking, like, when we onboard new members, what are we communicating to them? How are we getting this across them? So I'm redoing that for my gyms at the moment. And I'm like, shit. I spoke to an affiliate up in Scandi. He was up from Norway, and Finland, and Norway, not the same.
To us Americans, it is. To us Americans, it is. It's fine.
It's over there. He developed an app for his gyms whereby your members register for this 80-day challenge, and it's an 80-day nutrition challenge whereby you drink 2.5 liters to 3 liters of water a day. You don't drink alcohol. You're following some form of diet. You're getting good protein intake according to your number of blocks. What else? Just simple stuff, kind of like the 75 hard, but it's like 80 just based around nutrition and on top of what you're going to come and do in the gym. And so it's like giving them some form of like adaptation towards CrossFit. And he built the app himself. Like, that's bloody brilliant.
I love it. Yeah, it's an accountability app.
Yeah,
you check little boxes off.
And you have to tick off that you've done all 8 things in the day. And if you don't, you get a push notification saying, "Hey, Daniel, did you drink your 2.5 liters of water, 3 liters of water today?" And if you don't, you're getting, "Hey, dude, you only got 7 points out of 8." And he accumulates all these points on every week, and there's a ranking of all the members, right?
Wow.
And then all the members can send messages to the other, "Hey, dude, don't drop off. Saw you had alcohol. I hope you had a good night last night, but hey, get back on it today." And it's an extension of what we want to do in the gym. And those sorts of tools, I think that we can being an affiliate, you should have access on stuff like that. So there's stuff like that I think tech could be useful. They're doing some really good stuff though on the games app, and Dave's been fighting for a couple of years to get some stuff done there, like inside the box ranking list and all this kind of stuff. And but also, I'm a big one on giving affiliates direct financial advantage for being an affiliate.
Me too. You mean like it reduces your health insurance by $5,000 a year, and thus being an affiliate makes you $1,500 or makes you $500 a year instead of losing.
And these are the insurance companies we're working with. And as your members swipe in, if they swipe in an average of 3 times a week, they're going to get they'll get $70 off their life insurance or whatever, or health insurance, that kind of stuff. All of that sort of stuff I think can be looked into, because those have direct advantages for the affiliate. I would be looking at retribution on certain things back to the affiliate, because the affiliate's the one that does the groundwork for whether it's, is it open, is it other events and that kind of stuff, community, the community cup and all this kind of stuff. I think we can give them 4 or 5 moments in the year where they can really use CrossFit to activate their communities, bring them together, really differentiate themselves from all the other gyms that are out there that are doing Friday Night Lights but aren't part of the officially part of the Open. And I think tech has a role in that, without a doubt. But it shouldn't be, tech shouldn't be telling ops and EDU and games what they're going to develop. It should be ops, EDU, and the games telling tech what they need. And so there's a mindset shift in there as well.
Yeah, I recently was just brought up to speed on that. And when I heard that, I was fucking flabbergasted. That would have never happened under Greg's realm.
I didn't say anything. I didn't tell you anything. What are you going on
No,
about?
but that is fucking wild, and that's the problem with having MBAs come from the tech industry. That is
Yeah.
fucking crazy. That
I
is, Greg used to
but you
always
see,
say to the lawyers, "Hey, I don't want to hear your shit. You've heard this before. I drive the
yeah,
bus. You don't tell me where to go. I run people over, and then you deal with the fucking repercussions back there.
yeah,
I do not.
yeah,
You motherfuckers will not run the bus."
yeah.
And I used to always be like, "Wow, he's brave," because the lawyers will. And I know you weren't using lawyers as an example, because the lawyers are there to tell you all, like they're warning you of every single
Don't do
fucking
that.
thing.
Don't
Yeah,
do that.
don't
And
do
he's going,
that.
no, I'm going
Yeah,
to tell you what I
yeah,
want to do. You're going to
yeah,
tell me how I can run them over, but then not get
yeah,
sued afterwards. Is basically,
yeah, yeah,
you want the dog to wag the tail, not the tail wagging the dog, right?
yeah.
And so, and I think it's better now. It's getting way better, and I think it's getting way better because those who are in leadership positions are more aligned. And honestly, like, the way they're working together now is better than I've seen. It really is, and I think it'll take a while for it to permeate out into some decisions and communication towards affiliates and community. But I am super optimistic. Yeah. So
Daniel, when we in the early days, and I still believe this, but I'd love to hear your opinion. I believe that CrossFit had a base. Um, do you
you mean
think
a
it
home
still has?
base or a base of people?
Well, it needs a home base, but a base of people. And when we came up, the first responders were the base, always,
Hmm.
right? You could tell,
Hmm.
like, all the searches were coming from military bases, first responders, firefighters. Um, do you still believe that we have a base cohort?
I It's there. I just think that CrossFit became so popular. So the base of your early adopters, right? You look at the bell curve, the bell curve of adoption, right? And you've got the innovators, which is like 1% of the population, and that'll be the box owner that goes to the States, does it level one, and then flies off to Japan and opens a box in Japan, right? And takes CrossFit there, and the brave individuals, right, that break the mold. And then you got the early adopters, the ones that have been following it from afar, and they're waiting for one thing. That's for a box to open, and they'll travel 90 minutes to go and do a 60-minute class and 90 minutes back, and they'll do that 5 times a week. They don't mind, right? They knew who Greg was. They knew who Dave was. They could name the games winners, from 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, all that kind of stuff. Right? I think the people that would be innovators today, the firemen, all that kind of stuff, are kind of like now in the early majority and late majority, because that's who most of the members are today. They're not necessarily those fire-breathing first responders that would have been the early adopters. We've got more, 50-year-old taxi drivers now in our gyms than SWAT team members, right? But I don't think we've lost the SWAT team members. I just think that there's so many more people doing CrossFit now that we don't focus on them quite so much. We don't highlight them quite so much. And I
I
think they're
felt like
still
we
there.
got a lot of brand value from them also. Like when I
Oh,
see
without
that,
doubt,
yeah,
without because the early majority. I mean, like, this is just you go to any basic commerce school or business school. The early majority, where do they go? What do they do? They do what the early adopters are doing, right? They're going, shit, look at these guys. Oh, it's like, whoa, look at that. It's like, oh my god, look at that workout. Look at that.
the
Is
only
it
girl
Navy
on the
SEALs?
fire,
Is it?
the only girl who made it to the Elite Fire Academy, how did she do it? And then you find out she's a CrossFitter. That's how she
Yeah,
fucking did it.
yeah, yeah.
The only girl
But
who's ever like been the highest ranking girl in the U.S. military. Holy shit, how'd she do it? She was a CrossFitter.
so we could
And you're
we
like,
could call them
fuck.
we could call them influencers, right? Those early
Yeah,
adopters. They influenced an early
yeah,
majority that wanted to be fit, right? And then the
yeah,
late majority, well, they look for people that look like them. So if there's a 50-year-old taxi driver that lost 10 kilos and doesn't have back pain because he's doing CrossFit, and I'm a
yeah.
50-year-old with back pain, then they look for similar people being successful. Whereas the early majority don't look for similar people. They look at the innovators. They go, God, that looks cool. These guys are getting. Maybe I should give that a pop. And so who are they following now? I think, yeah, people on Instagram, unfortunately, high-end athletes, the athletes from the games are fulfilling that role more than I think they did initially. Um, And I would love to see more first responders in the boxes. I'd love to see more SWAT team members, and we still have them. I just think I also think that the boxes are bigger than they used to be, right? I mean, I can't remember before I opened my box. I can't remember going to a box that had more than like 150 members. Yeah. And now I'm regularly walking into boxes with like 400, 500 members, you know. And so do you still have the same number of first responders within that 500, but you've just got more of the everyday people? I think so. I don't think we've lost them.
Just to harp on the female firefighter thing, it seems like every year there'll be some girl who's not a professional CrossFitter who's flirting with getting to semifinals or the games, and you're like, "Fuck, what'd she do?" And you find out, oh, she's a firefighter.
CrossFit.
Yeah, CrossFit. She's a CrossFitting firefighter.
On my son sent it to me, and it was on. I don't go on TikTok. I'm not a big believer in that, but he has it, unfortunately. And he sent me this thing where this guy's stopping all these people that are really fit and saying, "Hey, what do you do to get fit?" Stops this guy and goes, "Hey, how old are you?" And the guy is ripped. I mean, like, I'm like, this guy's maybe 38, 40 years old. He goes, "I'm 52." So he's my age. I'm going, "Holy smokes, this guy's ripped."
Yeah, I saw that.
I want to know what he's doing. And he goes, "So how do you get fit?" "Oh, I've been doing CrossFit for 6 years. I'm in a better shape than I ever have." I'm like, damn, he's doing it better than I am because he's got better results than me. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that the other day. You know who I had on? I had a guy from the UK on. He tried to set a world record for He's a Red Bull athlete. He tried to set a world record for backflips on his bicycle. Do you know the story? Kieran something. He won the silver medal in the Olympics. But anyway, Red Bull sets up this whole thing. You can see they've spent probably $100,000 to set this jump up for him. He tries to do the backflip. He can't do it. He starts CrossFit. Red Bull comes back, rebuilds the ramp for him 2 months later. He says, "Yeah, CrossFit made me more explosive," and he sets the world record for this backflip land. Hey, what do you think about Xenom? Do you know about this event coming? It's like the decathlon. Yeah, Keith Barlow.
I met the guy. I don't know. I have to see it to understand it. Really, it's like for me, 10 events in 2 days is yeah. I as an event organizer, I know it's a really hard space to find a model that is financially viable and then that you can reproduce over time and sustainable. And I think he's looking at, I mean, $500 a head, I think is a big ask for many already. Are you going to get sufficient number of people wanting to spend $500? Maybe once to give it a test, but are they going to do it that often? I don't know. How are you going to do it logistically? I mean, that's a lot of events, a lot of people, a lot of volunteers, a lot of judging. I mean, to do it well, you've got to have, and you know, we're lucky at the French Showdown. We need 360 volunteers, and systematically within like 24 hours of opening volunteer registration, we got 600 people asking, to volunteer. Wow. But we've built that over 16 years, right? We're we've been going 15 years now. We've been going since 2012, right? So this is the 15th year. So I don't know how off the bat, and I know they've got big finance and deep pockets and stuff, but money doesn't buy you everything. So I'd be interested to see how they do it. I'm impressed with the locations and venues they're talking about going to. The guy seems nice enough.
He said it sounds like they're putting a premium on the user experience. So the $500, it's not like you just show. I mean, I haven't run a marathon, but I suspect with a marathon, you paid the money and you fucking struggle to find a parking space. You walk 2 miles to the starting line and you run and it's over and there's a piece of cake for you at the end. It sounds like this thing, they're really focused on the user experience so that those 2,000 people, it's not they're just paying $500 to show up, but it's going to be like going to a nice hotel. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get what you pay for. You're going to see things for the user experience. I mean, that's what it sounds like their goal is. So that but you're right. It is going to be, it will be, I guess it's a wait and see. You're basically saying, let's wait and see. You don't have any opinions.
I think it was the right move for CrossFit to lend its name to it and give it legs and give it a pop and, and to kind of stick a flag in that Yeah, ambitious to say the least, but I'm excited for it. Yeah, I agree. I think that's. I would say it looks ambitious. I'm excited to see how it works out. And the guy who's running it's a nice guy, a guy from the UK.
Yeah, I like him.
Super tall dude. I was glad
Oh,
when he
he
sat
is
down.
tall? Keith's tall? He's tall?
Huge, huge.
Oh. Oh, I couldn't tell that from when I
His
had him on the show.
his plates of meat have got to be like size 11s or 12s or something. So plates of meat is Cockney rhyming slang for feet. Just I'd say okay. His feet have got to be sizes 11s or 12s.
I thought you were talking about something else.
No, God, no, no. Would I do that, Sivan? So I hope it works out for him, and I have no issues with with other things being successful. I don't think it takes away from the CrossFit Games at all. I think it's going to feed
Me neither.
it. I think we need to see these things as opportunities. You can't move to a town and open a supermarket and hope to be the only supermarket in town. You just can't do that. And so you got to accept that the environment's going to be changing. You got to change with it. You got to move with it. And I think we're doing that better now than we have for a good number of years now, as a group with CrossFit.
Along those lines, the Will Morad League, it had its first year. All the big names went and did it, or at least attempted to do it. And it'll be interesting to see how it settles down. And it would be really cool if it could become a sustainable venture for athletes who aren't willing to make the or maybe able to make the commitment to stay focused on the games because they're just not there the caliber yet. And it would be cool if there was that, like fighting has it. They have the Bellator League and they have the UFC League. And so the Bellator League is really cool because their best athletes eventually matriculate up to the UFC. I don't know if that's a word. Is that a word? Matriculate?
Yeah, I understand what you're looking for with the WFP. I don't know that they have the same aspiration. I think one of the issues with WFP, I think it would have got more traction had they shown, I would say, less opportunism.
They should have been in a semifinal and given away $300,000. That's what I would have done. If you want to get into the space and start a league, become a semifinal and make the prize money huge, and then next year get a second semifinal, and the third year get a third semifinal. I think that would have been massive. Become the premier semifinal in the CrossFit space if you have that much money. Yeah, they should have stayed right next to the mothership the whole time. I
don't know whether they did it inadvertently, but they kind of positioned themselves as, for those that want to boycott the games, we're doing this sort of thing. It felt like that, and I don't know if they ever said that or, but it did feel like that, the timing and all that kind of stuff. And so I think it didn't get the traction with the community or the affiliates that it could have done if it had been presented in a different way.
Yeah.
And so it kind of came across as being very opportunistic at the time that it was launched.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not afraid of WFP in any way. I think that if they're smart, they don't compete with the game season. They do actually work around it, which they didn't do last year. I mean, they stuck the first event on the same weekend as the French Throwdown.
Shit.
It was like, I was like, seriously, they're going to do the same. So you literally then you've got sponsors who would like to take part in WFP but have been your sponsors for a while, and then they're like splitting what they're going to be doing. So instead of going full in on one, they split or they move to one to the other, and so you're dividing and watering down success as opposed to being a complement to it throughout the season. So hopefully they've worked out their dates better this year. And I like Roger, who runs the European leg for it and stuff. He's funny, man, and I know him back from the old sanctional days of 218, and he's not a bad guy. He's a good event organizer, and if anyone can make it work, he can. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Sevan has I don't think this is a compliment. Sevan has a classic ability to answer his own questions and never let the guest get a word in. Daniel, don't talk anymore the rest of the show. I had Lucy McGonigal on yesterday, and she said that one of I've heard her say it in a couple of podcasts now, one of her highlights of her life was she wasn't even in the final heat. She was like in the first or second heat. She was at the French Throwdown, and she said she looked up and the crowd was going absolutely crazy and every seat was packed in the house. and she couldn't believe it. And she said that was such an amazing experience for her. So congratulations to that. It sounds like the French Throwdown is just a hell of a time.
Yeah, it depends on the edition. I've got to admit, I haven't been satisfied with anything we've done in the last few years.
Oh, wow. She said this was in
And
2024.
yeah, I was satisfied with what we did for the semi-final athletes. I wasn't satisfied for what we did with the community side in that year. And then last year was a really tough year because of what had happened in Fort Worth, and the dates that were given to us to be part of the game season. In 2024, there was obviously the Olympics in France, and so there were a lot of stadiums that had been booked out, and stuff had been pushed back to the year. It's like, so it was really hard to get a venue last year. So we ended up being down in Montpellier, and so I wasn't happy with what we put on as I say, when you're doing an event, you do it for athletes, you do it for spectators, you do it for volunteers, and you do it for partners. Those are the cohorts, and the last couple of years, I've always been disappointed with what we delivered to one of those four, and so just trying to work on details to make sure we get it right. And I want all athletes, regardless of whether they're elites going to the games or whether they're coming into the intermediate category, I want them to have the Lucy McGonigal moment of, like, eyes like, wow, this is friggin' amazing. And so 24 was a good one. But then changes were made to 25 season that kind of like hamstrung us a bit. Going from 10 spots in Europe, last year we're given, I think, was it 1 or 2? I can't remember. And then I think it was 1. I think no teams last year. It was a tougher season last year. And obviously I'm not impartial because I've got the French Showdown, but I do believe that each region should have one event that athletes try and get to, and it's like the North American Championship or it's like the European Championship.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because most athletes, that's where the journey ends. They don't make it to the games, and so for those, they need to be able to stake a claim, saying, I was 17th in Europe. You know what I mean? That sort of thing is there.
Yeah.
I think that was changed from 24 to 25. And I think that's a shame. And I'm not criticizing the quality of anyone's event. I'm just saying, as an athlete, I think that by changing that, we're missing a beat. But yeah, the French Showdown's a great event. Last year, 25, we lost a huge sum of money. So it wasn't a great event for my bank account, or lucky the boxes are working pretty well to be able to subsidize that. But then you basically end up working a year to subsidize an event. And you get to the end of the year, and my accountants again, what are you doing? Why? You could have paid yourself, really groovy dividends. That chalet at in the Alps, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I'd rather lose. I'd rather spend $1 million euros and lose my shirt on a 3-day event.
Is that how much it costs to throw the French Throwdown?
Yeah, we're between 850 and $1 million is how we've turned over the last few years. Yeah. And that doesn't include a lot of the salaries, because I use my teams for my boxes for a lot of the planning and prep, right? But stadiums, you want a good stadium, that makes an athlete feel important. We could do it in a box. Our box in Bordeaux is huge, right? We could stick a final in the box, but that's not the experience you want to be giving to the athlete, I think. Well, it's not the experience I want to be giving to the French Showdown athletes. You want a shit ton of spectators. You want the partners there. You want CrossFit to be gaining momentum because you brought 5,000-6,000 people together in one spot over a weekend. These events are events that gain momentum for CrossFit. Coming off the back of these events, boxers are buzzing, coaches are excited, box owners get more walk-ins. If you can get some local press or TV and all this kind of stuff, it's like that's where semi-finals are really, really, really good. I think there's something that CrossFit could do throughout the year that could help that too. But that'll be for another conversation.
We were brainstorming the other day and on the update show, and what we came to the conclusion is that the online qualifier should really just be called the last chance qualifier. Go back to that, and it should only be 2 people or 1 person, and they should reallocate those to the big semifinals, like the French Throwdown. So instead of like 9 people going from there, give 3 of those to North America, give 3 or 4 to Europe, give one more to Australia, and then open up the last chance qualifier to all 2,000 athletes who qualified for the semifinals. And because obviously for the reasons you said, that way we can get more attention to the in-person events. Like there's no who gives a fuck who qualifies online. Just and that'll be really exciting if only one or two people can make it through there. That'll make us all be like, we'll give a shit about the online qualifier too.
Yeah. Well, I think Dave has heard that argument, right? Several times, whether it's from you, me, and a few other people. But I do agree with you completely on that one. Why dilute the in-person events with an online qualifier that actually it does nothing for the spectators and community? It does nothing for the affiliates. It does nothing for the events. It does nothing for the partners that you need in the space, right? You need bums on seats. You need those numbers to attract the partners, and you need the partners to be able to pay prize money, the stadium. So there's this virtuous circle of having one event where the best athletes in that region have to go to that event to get to the next stage.
Yeah.
You get that, you're getting spectators. You're getting spectators, you're getting the partners. You're getting the partners, you've got the money to put on a really good show for all of those cohorts. And so as soon as you start to dilute that, everything becomes harder. It becomes harder for partners to justify the investment in being at an event where, they're going to spend 30K on a stand plus the salaries plus all this kind of stuff, and they're not even going to break even. All that kind of stuff becomes harder for the semifinal organizers saying, well, maybe we need to downsize as a stadium. Maybe we need, and so instead of raising up the semis by diluting it, you kind of like create an environment of instability. I think we're better this year than we were in 2024. I'm looking forward to 2025. I think we're going to have a good vibe. I think there'll be some, good stadiums, pretty full. No one wants to go to a semifinal and see empty seating.
Right. Hey, how many gyms do you own?
Just 3.
I thought I heard you say it the other day, and I thought it was 2. How long have you had the third one? What's the shortest one you've had?
2019.
Okay.
But then we were closed. We're closed for a good chunk of 2020 and 21 with Dr. Fauci's COVID.
Right. Mr. Fauci, thank you. From Daniel. Is a 4th box in the works?
No, not now.
Okay.
No, I've got some staffing issues that I got to sort out. And I spent so much time working for CrossFit that I put a lot of stuff on the back burner for my gyms. A lot of stuff in my personal life as well on the back burner. I was traveling 2 to 3 weeks a month for a few years, right? And although I've got some really great people in the teams, it's unfair for me to hope that they have the same vision as I do, or that they can have as much impact as I can. So I'm getting stuck into my gyms now, and they'll be in a better place in 6 months' time than they are now. And I have nothing against opening a 4th gym. You just got to have the right people for it. So we're reviewing certain procedures and processes, and a 4th gym isn't off the books, but at the moment I've got to make sure the French Showdown doesn't cost me. I mean, like last year we lost just over 300K on the French Showdown in net losses. So I just got to make sure that we don't lose that this year. And what gets me is like, and I'm not saying that for anyone's like, oh, sympathy.
No.
I don't care about sympathy. I just want the truth. But then you do that and you lose on that, and it's like, and my ex-wife is my business partner, right? We get on super well and stuff. And she laughs. She goes, "You're nuts." I know. And it's like, well, we'll just work this year not to lose money, and to go back in the right direction. When that happens, when the French Showdown is safe and we earn enough from it to be able to project the next year, then you can actually project growing the French Showdown next year, which is good for everybody, right? And then when that's happening, then I know I don't need to use revenue from the gyms to subsidize the French Showdown. Then maybe number 4 is on the cards, yeah.
Seth Page, what kind of psycho would be willing to have 4 gyms? He's saying that because he has 4 gyms.
Yeah, just you jump ship training.
Sabir, we just need 1 in Trinidad.
Well, Sabir, Kelly, have you got your level 1?
I think they do.
Well, that's it.
Time to open one.
Yeah, the gym can be a shipping container close to the beach, right? It doesn't have to be it can be the best gyms in the day were garage gyms, right? There was someone's garage. Yeah.
Yeah, or
20 members, 30
How
members.
about CrossFit San Francisco was just, out in a parking lot
Right.
forever.
The old Kelly Starrett and Carl Powley videos of box jumps and rope climbs, right? That was it.
Yep.
Mm.
Mr. Chaffey, thank you for all your time this morning. I apologize for the struggle of getting you on. That's all my fault.
No, mate. It's okay. Yeah, I had a 4:30 that I've missed, so I'll blame you for I'm going to tell Magic Mike that it was your fault.
All
It's
right.
always good to see you, Savan. I hope
Great to see you
I hope to
too.
see you in person soon. You're
I'll see
always
you in
welcome
San
at the French
Jose. I'll
Showdown.
see you in San Jose.
Yeah, listen, we're not making enough money on the French Showdown for me to actually pay you to come to the French Showdown. But
Yes.
if you're Biomax, Paper Street
Peptides.
Coffee, Doc Spartan, Waterfies, all these guys, if they want to pay you to come out to the French Showdown, we'll give you some great access. You're always welcome. I'll take you for great steak, good red wine.
Will I get to see your son?
Oh, for sure.
Awesome.
He's uh, he's the one who gives me headaches when I travel to events without him. He's like, "What a palooza! What about me?" I was like, "You got school, man." Yeah, but I have school the rest of the year. It's like, yeah, exactly.
I
So
love how
yeah.
every time I see you, he's with you, and I'm always so impressed. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till my boys are old enough to just drag him everywhere with me.
Yeah, listen, I'm blessed, and he's the only one I got. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have had more.
There's still time.
It's probably I just put all the best into one, one moment, one magic moment. They're like, wow,
How old is he
it
now?
worked. He's just turned 16.
That's awesome. Wow. All right,
Yeah,
brother.
but
Thank you so much.
you love to the missus. Look after yourself. Stay safe. Thanks.
Yep. See you soon. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel Chaffey. That's stupid that it took me so long to get him on. I need to have him. He needs to be regular. Regular, like a poop. I need to have him on regular. All right. Thanks, guys, for your patience. I should have asked Daniel how he finally got on. I need to ask him. So the next time it happens. I need a cigarette. Yeah, I love him. I do need a cigarette. I'm about to jump in a car for 45 minutes and then watch gymnastics for 90 minutes. Which means basically I'll be on the phone the entire time and then drive 45 minutes back. There's so many things I'm trying to organize. Dude, I have no business organizing shit, but trying to organize. One of my daughters is coming to help me at Syndicate. That's cool. Yeah, nothing but good things about the French Throwdown. I feel like the last time I had Daniel on, he talked about how I think they went into like $500,000 in debt during COVID too. Dug himself out of that hole, and now he's got the French Throwdown. At your age, I would get in slowly. Don't jump. I don't know what you're talking about, but I definitely won't jump. I took my daughter to Syndicate last year and gave her a camera and press pass. It was funny. I was talking to Avi about it the other day about going to an event. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to really work on my confidence." I love that self-analysis. Oh wow! Look at this, David Weed poking Jeremy. Have you seen Jeremy in person, David? He put you in a headlock, boy. Got our games tickets the other day, right by the finish line. Oh, that's nice. Are they? Maybe I misunderstood. Did they just get open to the general public? All right. I will be back at 2:30 p.m. Hopefully, it's going to be close. I go from here to gymnastics and then to tennis and then rush back in. I'll probably be a disheveled mess and exhausted. And I'll have a special guest on with me for the weekend review. Maybe it'll be at 2:45. Someone who hasn't been on the show in years and years and years and years and years and years and years. My boy just started tennis. The coach has one arm. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, send me a photo of that. That's awesome. I got my hotel for the games. It was not expensive. That's good to hear. Mike Halpin, great guess. Brian, yeah, go to both of them. Gary Roberts, another great guess. Hobart, another great guess. I promise you, you guys will be happy. I promise you. What are these question marks? Oh. John Young, Matt Fraser. Pat's going to give me dating tips and Glinton's at 4:35. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I'm going to be on the Glintons on Thursday. When is Thursday? I'll be on the Glintons podcast. Hans Kim, another great guess. Dave, good guess. I'll tell you it's not Dave. Oh, I should never yawn online. That's despicable. Everything you do is influencing people online, whether you know it or not. I used to watch this show, Mad Men, and every time I'd watch it, I'd want to smoke a cigarette and do a shot of tequila. So when I yawn online, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm spreading that disease of tiredness. I apologize. I don't want to spread that. Jenny, good guess. Brian Spen, good guess. Tia, great guess. Best guess yet. Cocker vagina. Can't tell you that. That's how you watch the Game of Thrones too. Yeah. So I don't like to do things on here that could trigger somebody. Oh. You are now in line to buy tickets. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy to see 12 daily doses, David Weed, and Clock in the chat, just chatting, having talked ultimate shit elsewhere. I know. I'm kind of flattered though by it. Not kind of. I am flattered by it. You guys will always have a home here until the next time I kick you dipshits out. All right. You trigger Pat for 60 minutes a day. That is correct. Eventually he'll grow thick enough skin to be a man. All of them will. Doing God's work. Burping into the mic is about enough to send me. I know, that's sloppy. So sloppy. Laura Horvat finally caved and is coming to announce her return. Oh, that's a great guess. I have the reflux. I don't know what the reflux is. I just enjoy burping. All right, big things this week. Stay close by. Big things. You guys are going to love this shit. You guys are going to love this shit. Have your credit cards handy. When it's your show, you can fart into the mic if you wanted to. Yeah, I like Janelle though. I don't want to send her away. I could probably like burp. Sometimes I'm so cavalier with them. Sometimes I don't even know I'm doing it. I've turned into that old guy. But I could do this. And you know what I mean? Look away. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.